This was a disgrace. This was a rigged trial by a conflicted judge who was corrupt. It's a rigged trial, a disgrace. They wouldn't give us a venue change. We were at 5% or 6% in this district, in this area. This was a rigged, disgraceful trial. The real verdict is going to be November 5th by the people. And they know what happened here, and everybody knows what happened here. You have a Soros-backed DA and the whole thing. We didn't do a thing wrong. I'm a very innocent man, and it's okay. I'm fighting for our country. I'm fighting for our Constitution. Our whole country is being rigged right now. This was done by the Biden administration in order to wound or hurt an opponent, a political opponent. And I think it's just a disgrace. And we'll keep fighting. We'll fight till the end, and we'll win, because our country's gone to hell. We don't have the same country anymore. We have a divided mess. We're a nation in decline, serious decline. Millions and millions of people pouring into our country right now from prisons and from mental institutions, terrorists, and they're taking over our country. We have a country that's in big trouble. But this was a rigged decision right from day one, with a conflicted judge who should have never been allowed to try this case, never. And we will fight for our Constitution. This is long from over. Thank you very much.
Why should voters vote for a convicted felon?
Are you going to talk?
So, I mean, I don't normally do live streams, just jumping in and doing them, but I think what's happened tonight is so shocking that every single one of us in the free world, I'm not just talking about people in America. Obviously, there'll be people in America will be absolutely beside themselves. But what's happened tonight, it's very simple. One, Trump should be a national hero. He literally saved the world from a major conflict in the Middle East when he first became president. By the way, he handled what was happening in Syria. He dealt with China very forcefully, dealt with Russia very forcefully. He kept the peace, and now we're in a world that's in complete conflict. And the globalists, of course, want that. The globalists, because conflict and fear and pandemics and every other thing that they can invent control people and make people terrified. And for an American president to be, this is unprecedented, forgive the pun, to send a man to prison. Not just that, he hasn't been sent to prison, he's found guilty. This man's coming up to 80. He's got an amazing amount of energy, an amazing amount of courage. And if they can send a presidential candidate and the ex-president of the United States to prison, which is what they're going to do, they're going to try and do, it's a warning to everybody in the world. That's what they're doing. They're sending out a warning in the same way that they make example of people like Julian Assange, Tommy, others. The globalists are saying, we run the show. Doesn't matter how big Trump is, we can take him down. And with the rabble that we're going to get coming into power here, as one set of globalists pass the baton on, we've got to realize, and I'm talking about the freedom-loving, patriotic Christian nationalists across the globe have got to realize that we have one hell of a battle on our hands. If they can do it to Donald Trump, if they can send Donald Trump to prison, they can literally try their best to silence anyone. But what I hope happens, I hope that the Americans double down on this. They see how unjust it is. They see that the man has been treated in a vile, disgusting fashion, a complete unfair, fake trial. And yeah, I mean, it's just looking at some of the comments here. Diabolical. Yeah, I mean, it's just incredible. It's just absolutely incredible, absolutely diabolical, total setup. Biden administration. the thing. I mean, the Biden family are the most corrupt family on the planet. The Bidens, the Clintons, they've been at it for years. Look at what the Clintons did to Northern Ireland. The Clintons and the Blairs put Northern Ireland in a position where the good guys lost and the bad guys won, because Northern Ireland was well on the way to a united Ireland because of the Good Friday Agreement, because of all the other shenanigans that have gone on. And that was the Clintons. And of course, who was the Clintons' best buddy? The Bidens. I think they will bang him up. I honestly think they will bang him up. Civil unrest worldwide. I mean, the reality is nobody wants civil unrest. Nobody. But I think America is going to be in big trouble. There are a lot of heavily armed people in America, and a lot of very angry, heavily armed people in America. And when I look at the left and I look at who they are and the way they behave, I think I despise them more than anything. You know, they are bullies. They use the law against us. I mean, if you think about what happened in 2018, when every single patriot in the UK, more or less, had their social media channels vaporized, and what they're sending out a message tonight. They are sending out a big message saying, if we can do this to Donald Trump. Now, as far as I know, he can still stand for president, still get elected, and serve his term as president in prison. And as far as I know as well, if he becomes president, he may well be able to pardon himself and get himself out of jail. Yeah, Bobby, the USA has turned into a banana republic, and guess what? So the UK. If you look at the state of the UK, you look at the state of infrastructure in the UK, you look at the pressure on services, it's exactly the same in America. I think the Americans, the Biden administration, I believe, has brought in 7 million people. They've done away with pumping oil, they've done away with pumping gas, and they've destroyed their country's economy, and they've brought in 7 million people to act as cheap labor and cheap votes for the Democrats forever. The Labour Party is going to do exactly the same in the UK. This is absolutely disgusting. Yeah, Biden, the child sniffer, that's very, very true. Biblically accurate. Israel is now alone. The Bible, that's right. That's exactly what it says in Revelation chapter 20. It says that Israel, Jerusalem, the beloved cities, and the camp of the saints, which is the Christians, are going to be surrounded by Gog and Magog. And in the book of Zechariah, it says the same thing, that Israel will be surrounded by everybody. But we're not there yet. Not there yet. So yeah, it's a globalist agenda. And I mean, it's very interesting that that Trump in his speech outside the court, and I thought he carried himself very well. Do you know what? I was never a massive fan of Trump, to be honest with you. But I thought he carried himself extremely well outside the court. And who did he blame? He blamed George Soros. He said Soros is financing the judge. Oh man, I mean, 8 million migrants since Biden became president. Didn't Hunter Biden have Joe Biden's number on his phone under the name? Oh, it's quite possible. I'm not sure about that. Yeah, they have the Marxists and the communists, and that's what we're up against. We are up against a global communist and Islamist insurgency. That's what we're looking at. And they're winning. They are winning. They are absolutely running rings round us. And that's another reason. I mean, this is going out live tonight. We've got, as you all know, we've got a big demo on Saturday. And it's not, everything isn't smooth sailing. I'm not going to say, and I don't mean in our team, but let's just say we've got a bit of an issue with the Metropolitan Police. Hopefully we can get it sorted out, but there's a bit of an issue going on. And we've got that demo on Saturday, and we need everybody to get to Central London, because quite apart from anything else, with what's just happened to Trump, mate, if you're a patriot, if you're a nationalist, and you're a patriot, and you love this country, get to London, and if nothing else, stand in solidarity with the man in America that's just been found, because this is the same thing. It's two-tier policing on steroids, if we think about it. Absolutely scandalous. Yeah, when God's law is rejected, when God's law is rejected, we're at the mercy of man's law. That's for sure. Well, Patriot, yeah, it'd be great to see you on the demo. I honestly think he'll go to jail. Yeah, I think he'll go to jail. I think they'll put him in prison. I think they will put him in prison without a shadow of a doubt. And the consequences of that for that country, man, I thought we were in trouble, and we are in big trouble. But the truth of the matter is that, and yeah, corruption is everywhere. The film on Saturday is not just focusing on two-tier policing; it's focusing on tyranny, and what's happened in the United Kingdom. Our institutions have been taken over by communists. They've been taken over by common purpose people. They've been taken over by the far left. That's why there's all this garbage going on in our country. That's why nothing works, because they're more interested in diversity, equity, and inclusion than they are in getting the job done. And, and who's next? That's the question. Who are they going to come for next? It is that poem about, first they came for the trade unionists and the Jews, and nobody spoke up, and then they came for me. When are people going to stand up and start saying enough's enough? Let's get out there. Let's get on the streets. Let's make some noise. Let's let the British public know that the people who really count in this country are not those tramps walking around flying foreign flags and calling for the murder of innocent Jews. They don't matter. They don't matter. The real people that matter are the 30 to 40 million people who believe everything that we believe, but they're scared to get out and do it. And let's stand in solidarity with our cousins in America, because we're kith and kin. We're the same seed. We're the same people. For goodness sake, we planted America. We sent the Pilgrim Fathers out there. Trump said it. Yeah. Trump said he'd deport the foreign jihadis. Bob, yeah, it'd be good to see you, my man. Good to see you. Yeah, the West has fallen, and we are dealing with Satan, and we are dealing with treason. Guys, like and share this stream. Let's get it out there, and let's get some comments going about what's happening, and about what we should do as a free people. When the president of the United States is found guilty in a show trial, we know that we are in real trouble. Bob, 50,000. Do you know what? I think we will get 50,000, because I think we're all filled with a rage against the establishment, with a rage against people who have betrayed us. They have literally, our leaders. Here's the thing. I want you to think about this, okay? So let's say I'm on a rant. I want you to think about this, right? We're in a situation now in the UK where we were locked up. We were basically all under house arrest for at least 2 years. Businesses ruined. People's mental health ruined. Relationships ruined. Everything in smoke and ashes. Children's education ruined by this government. And the Labour Party would have done exactly the same. By the Mono Party, the Labour Party would have done exactly the same. And yet we're told that this government was able to completely ride roughshod over the British people's human rights. Can't get Abdul, Aisha, and Asif out of the country who come here illegally. Sorry, it's not even Aisha. It's just Abdul, Asif, and Mohammed. Can't get them out of the country when they've come here illegally. They've broken the law. They've broken into our country. And our state, our great leaders, our Royal Navy can't get rid of them. The RNLI are acting as a taxi service for them. And the thing is, the same things happen in America. And if you're watching in America, I'm sure there will be some people watching in America that they will very, very clearly understand that we stand with you. We stand with you. We've been suffering this garbage for years. Biden has done what the Labour Party and what the Conservative Party have been doing to us for the past 25 years. Biden's done it in 4 years. Well, Biden hasn't really done anything because Biden can't even tell his legs how to work. Oh. Fair play. 2 ones coming in their own. Yeah, that's great. I mean, sorry. Let's get back to the demo on Saturday, because I started off on a rant about Trump, but let's just get back to what's happening on Saturday for a minute. Again, Saturday is our chance to say that we're standing with Trump, as well as everything else that we're going there for on Saturday. We're going there for so many different reasons. We're going there about the two-tier policing. We're going there about the creeping tyranny. We're going there about the absolute trampling of our rights underfoot, because that's what's happening. That's what's happening. This is a civil rights march on Saturday. When you look at the things that people are getting dragged through the courts for, it's unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. It's good to see so many at this time of night. So many people on here. So many people on here. What have we got here? What's this? Nation to go against nation, kingdom against kingdom. Believe we see some. Well, do you know what, Yeshua, evangelist? I hope we don't see civil war, because believe you me, we are working tirelessly to build a movement that means there won't have to be any unrest, because we will do in 5 years' time, when everybody's sick, sore, and tired of the Labour Party. The Conservative Party is going to be wiped out. When we're sick of when we're sick to our stomachs of what the Labour Party's done, we will have a movement of 30 million people. That's what we want. We want 30 million people who will get out and vote these rats out of power. And I'm not even talking about reform. I'm not talking about getting reform in. I'm not talking about getting the Conservatives back in. I'm talking about something totally new that really represents the people. That's what I want to see. First of all, we build values. First of all, we say, this is what we believe in. This is what we all stand for. Then we build our platforms as big as we possibly can. We mobilize people, and we've got to find loads of different ways to do it. Because believe you me, when the Labour Party get in, I genuinely believe a lot of us will go to prison for the stand that we've taken against radical Islam. I believe we're going to prison for that, because when they pass that law, which is about the all-party definition of Islamophobia, which basically says if you say anything against Muslimness, you're in big trouble. If they get law on the statute book, there's going to be a lot of us will be eating porridge. And like I said to the boys from Voice of Wales, it'll be like if I go inside there, I'll be like Fletcher out of porridge. I'll be one of the old boys on the way. But anyway, do you know what? Where's this? Escape the Magic? Listen, do you know what, my friend? I don't agree with you. What I would do, and I hate to say it, but I think because the problem is reform. If you look at their policies, unless they've changed, the reform policy on migration allows 300,000 people into the country a year. And what's going to happen? Their net zero migration means this: one leaves, one comes in, right? So we get rid of Jeremy and Bill and Susan, and we get Abdul, Asif, and Mohammed in return. So we get rid of the doctor, the lawyer, and the retired nurse, and we get, the testosterone-filled gentleman from Eritrea, Somalia, Libya, Pakistan, Syria, where take your pick, and that's what Reform are offering. So I'm not going to vote Reform. I'm going to vote for an independent unionist candidate. I'm lucky enough to have an independent unionist candidate, of us, and we'll see how he goes. He's a friend of mine, so I hope he's good. Sorry, is my mic still breaking up, guys? Is it because I am too far away from the mic? Let me know if you can hear that. Do you know what? I actually think UKIP. Where's that comment? I actually think UKIP is better than Reform. Where's it gone? There we go. UKIP is better than Reform. I would agree with that 100%. What have we got here? Oh, only thing Reform's good for is pay. Yeah, I agree. I guys, I believe that Reform are part of the problem. Tice is an ex-Tory. Do you know what? Here's the thing, right? See, when you watch these people, when you watch the professional politicians, the media trained politicians, listen out for this, right? This really happens. When they want to get your attention, do you know what they say? They always say, look, just watch them. Next time you're watching any of these grey politicians that are so boring, they have to have media training. They have to get trained how to talk because they've no charisma, they've no passion, they've nothing. And when they talk, they go, look. Always when they're talking, when they're trying to get your attention, watch it tomorrow morning on the talk shows when they've got the commentary chatting about this. I just think he's lame. I think Richard Tice is lame. And listen, Nigel Farage, and I've talked about this so often till I'm blue in the face, but it's true. Nigel Farage scuppered UKIP. Basically, the Patriots took over UKIP. The football lads, the veterans, the Patriots, we took over UKIP in 2018. We got Tommy involved. Gerard Batten was the leader. Some really great people there. And Farage made a speech where he said we were knuckle-dragging thugs and tattooed hooligans and all the rest of it. And very strangely, the party fell apart after that. Isn't that odd? So I'm sorry, I don't trust Nigel Farage. Yes, yes, the Royal drop short. I am. There's a good artilleryman there, no doubt. I am using StreamYard. Why are you asking? It's let me know. Because if you've got a better solution, let me know. I think it's my internet connection, to be honest, guys, that's causing the problem. I think someone's going to tell me to chill out here. No, what was it? I will spoil my ballot paper, putting my nominee on it and voting. Yeah, absolutely. I think we've all got to get out and vote, but we've got to plan. Have we got 5 years? I don't know. But we've got to try. We've lost. Do you know what? There's been too many missed opportunities, and none of us can afford to get this wrong now. And we can't trust the mainstream parties. We can't trust Nigel Farage. We really can't. Nigel Farage has been on form the last week or so. Yeah, I mean, look, here's the thing about Nigel, right? That song always comes into my head. We're only making plans for Nigel. I'm showing my age. But the thing about Nigel Farage is this. He goes so far and then he draws back. So he said a little bit about Islam. Not really about Islam, about some Muslims, okay? Which could, if the new laws get on the statute book, get into a bit of bother. You know, I mean, it was very interesting. Trevor Phillips was goading him and saying, what are you talking about here, Nigel? Are you talking about Muslims? And Nigel puts his head down. It looked a bit like a naughty schoolboy that was about to say something really rude and says, yes, I am. Yes, I am. You know, with his bottom lip quivering. Welcome to the party, Nigel. We were saying this in 2018, and you castigated us as far right and football hooligans and what have you. And really, mainly, it was veterans and middle-aged men and women who cared about the country and were worried about kids and grandkids. But anyway, guys, yeah, Chloe, and again, this is my opinion. I can't tell you how to vote, and all I'm doing is giving my opinion. I believe it's a well-informed opinion. But I don't believe that Reform are the real deal. I really don't. I really don't. So this one here. I think all we have to vote tactically. The problem we've got, right? This is the problem with voting. If everybody voted Reform and they formed a government, it would be interesting. But I really do not see that happening. I can't see it happening. So the problem is with voting Reform is, yes, it wipes out the Tories, and that wouldn't be a bad thing, but it gives a massive majority to the Labour Party. And I just don't think we realise how horrific that will be. I'm not sure if Gerard is speaking on. on Saturday. I hope he is. I'm not sure he is. I don't know what's happening with that side of things. I've been dealing with, I've had the great pleasure of dealing with the police liaison, which has been highly interesting. Okay, what have we got? We can't vote or protest our way out of this. What choice? Well, do you know what? Listen, I hear what you're saying, but I think we have got a chance. What we've got a chance because so many people have woken up. So many people have woken up that basically we have to form a movement, and the movement that we form has to be. We need we need a song for our new patriotic movement. We need a lot of things. I mean, one of the things we need is a statement of what we all believe and where we're all standing. So we need to have a statement which is based on values. Do you know what? I don't blame you. I do not blame you for saying you can't vote Tory. I'm not voting Tory. I've got the privilege of having a mate of mine who's standing, who's got a very good chance of getting elected, and I'm going to vote for him as an independent unionist across here in Northern Ireland. I've never voted Tory in my life, and I get it. You know, if I was living in England, I would be extremely conflicted, and I wouldn't know what I was going to do until I went into the polling booth. But I think just to stop Labour having a landslide, I'd have to vote Tory, even though I'd hate doing it. But I understand you saying you can't, and I don't blame you. You know, Deborah, that is what we're going to work on. We're going to work on I don't know whether you call it a mission statement or a pledge or whatever you want to talk to, you call it, that everybody can agree with. So all the people who have influence are gonna get around a table and work out exactly what it is that we all believe, we all agree on, which everybody else has done. I mean, the left know what they believe. You know, they're all socialists. The Islamists know what they believe. The far right know what they believe. But we are the centre ground. What we've got to get across is that we are the vast majority of the British people, and I believe that, because there's people that were never involved in politics are coming to me and saying, Richard, what can we do? How can we get involved? How can we help? A lot of women are getting involved now that weren't involved. A lot of women are getting passionate about this that weren't involved. I mean, my wife was never involved in any of this. She didn't like it. She didn't like me doing it, but she knows what's at stake now and supports me, you know. And so we're in that situation. We're in that situation where it's now or never. This is a key moment in history, and I honestly think getting out en masse on Saturday is an absolute must. And, you know, let's pray that we get 70,000. Let's pray that we get 70,000 people out like we did in October 2000. It's going to be really big. I think it's going to be really, really big. And I'm at the stage now where I'm not interested in any infighting. I'm not interested in hearing any backbiting about anyone. If you believe what we believe, and that's what we need to articulate. We need to get that statement out of what we all genuinely believe in, and we can say we believe in. If people are all on the same page when it comes to ideology and beliefs, then we can take this forward. And again, when we're talking about beliefs, I mean, I always say, and I'm not saying it in false humility. I'm probably the worst Christian that you'll ever meet for all sorts of reasons. But I believe in all that. I believe in God. I believe in the Bible. I believe in Jesus Christ. I believe all of it. And I'm saying that unashamedly. And I know there's a lot of people watch me that don't. And I respect you. I'm not trying to, you know, make you believe what I believe, because I can't do that. But what I'm saying is, I believe that we are on the right side of history, and that what we're doing is right and just, and finding some way to get us back to where we need to be politically, spiritually, morally. Well, that would be a great thing. Yeah, bang on. That's what's going to happen. And I think again, I can't speak for anybody else other than myself. This is what I would like to see happen. There's lots of different groups. You know, I know most of them, and the ones I don't know, other people will know. What we've got to do is reach out to those groups, not take those groups over, because that's not what's needed. them to agree to a set of beliefs that we can all stand under, and then let those groups just let them let rip right down the country. So there could be 3 or 4 different groups in your area, and you might find, well, one group you agree with or you like the people, but it's not going to be controlled. It's going to be literally controlled by the mission statement, the belief statement, the pledge, or whatever you want to call it. That's what is the underlying factor. That's how we win this, because then we can say, right, if you're a politician and you don't sign up to that, we're just going to make sure nobody votes for you. Make sure that we vote someone in that does believe in what you're doing. Now, the Muslims have started trying to do this with what they call the Muslim vote, which I'm sure you've all heard of. And the problem they've got is they don't have the numbers. They might be, but what they do have that we don't have is unity. So I'm guessing there's somewhere near 10 million Muslims living in the UK. I know they say there's only 6 million. I don't believe that. Well, we should have at least 30 million people on our side that believe we believe, and that's what we've got to really aim for and hope for. 27. Do you know what? We've got a good number of people on the stream tonight. 274 people on this stream at the minute. Look at the youth. So look, what does this say? Look at the youth, even our own. How are we? Well, we still are the majority. There's no doubt we're still the majority, but we won't be. If we don't do something now, we won't be the majority. But at the minute, we are the majority. This is our last chance. I genuinely believe that. This is our last chance to survive. Wonder if Republicans will vote for Sinn Féin in Northern Ireland with what's happening in the South. And after talking with the DUP candidate, I wasn't impressed. Yeah, listen, you're absolutely right. I mean, none of the political parties in Northern Ireland have done anything about migration, anything about the big issues that are affecting people's lives. They're pathetic. They're just part of the problem, to be honest with you. What's this one say? Until we remove the unit parties, yeah, I agree. But my problem I have, Fred, is that I believe Reform are part of the unit party. I really do. And if I didn't, I would have joined them and I'd be supporting them. But that's my opinion. I'm in the lucky position that I'm the one that's ranting into the microphone, but all I'm doing is giving you what I believe. And there's a lot of people probably in the comments who are a lot smarter than me and know a lot more about these things than I do. So just let me have my rant there, Fred. I'm passionate about this tonight. I think this is a turning point. Well, good evening from Darlington. When I first joined the army. First day I joined the army, I travelled to the barracks in Strensall with a lad from Darlington on the train from Darlington. Oh man, what was his name? I can hardly remember my name at this time. Sinn Féin are finished. I wish they were. I don't think they are. They're very well funded and very well organised. So I don't think Sinn Féin are finished. But it would be great to see Sinn Féin finished, because they are definitely part of the problem. Sorry for being innovative. Appreciate lion hearts like you trying your best. No, you're not being negative. Listen, we've all got this. The point of these live streams is it gives us all somewhere to vent, because we're all sitting there going, can we really believe what we've just seen happening? And of course, we can't really believe it, but it's happened. And man, what was this one here? Bring back the original voting system. To be honest with you, Edward, I don't even know what that means. Again, like I say, I'm just putting my thoughts out there, whether they're right or wrong. I'm not gonna try and make it about me and what I believe. If Trump falls, yeah. Well, I mean, Trump is in big trouble. There's no doubt about that. He's in big trouble. And what I hope happens in America, and what happens in the UK. It's too late for this election, unfortunately. We don't have time to do it. And I think this is a globalist ploy to get this election out there. It is a very sad day for freedom. It's a very sad day for freedom. But what I hope happens in America is that Trump wins the election by a massive amount. That people say, this is wrong. We don't believe that Trump's guilty of these charges. We believe it's politically motivated. I 100%, years ago, I would have laughed I would have absolutely laughed at people saying, "Oh, they can drag the American president through the courts and prosecute him." I would have laughed at them. Not anymore. Not anymore, because the reality is I've seen what they've done in this country. I've seen the way they've behaved. And, you know, I am so cynical about the policing. I'm so cynical about the government. I'm so cynical about the judiciary. We've seen them lie. We've seen them send. I mean, that guy up north, I don't agree with his politics at all. I mean, he's a proper, you know, by the sounds of it, he's a proper Nazi fella. I don't agree with his politics, but getting sent to 2 years for stickers that said it's okay to be white or something like that. You know, a White Lives Matter. I can't remember what it was, and he went to prison for 2 years. The lad that's left a bacon sandwich outside a mosque, I think it was somewhere on the south coast. He got sent to prison, I think, for 18 months, and he died in prison. And they said it was suicide, which I don't believe. And even if it was, he was probably a vulnerable guy that was bullied and tortured by you know who until he kind of gave up. So what's this one say? This one's having calm down. Where did I tell? What's that say? Calm down. Where did I tell people how to vote? I don't know what that means, Gene, to be honest with you, but yeah, again, I've been kind of rattling through this. So yeah. Sorry, he died suddenly. That's just about they called him Bunny, wasn't it? It's we like called Bunny. Died suddenly. Yeah. Yeah, I agree, Bobby. Free Sam Melia. Like I say, I don't agree with his politics. Really don't agree with his politics. But he shouldn't be in prison. He shouldn't be in prison at all. Who's telling you? I don't know what's going on. There's lots of people telling each other to calm down. Yeah, look, I mean, the bottom line is, guys, what's happened today is, to me, a dark day for democracy. It's very sinister. How many do I reckon coming? Realistically, I'm going to guess. I'm going to say 20 to 25,000. I hope I'm wrong. I hope it's more. I hope we get 70,000. And I hope they pack out those streets so that there's standing room only right the way up Victoria Street towards the station. That's what I hope. Because it sends out a message that we've had enough. That we've absolutely had enough. I've had enough of these hate marches. I've had enough of being silenced. I've had enough of social media treating us like criminals, you know. And again, I'm not going to go into detail on the stream. I mean, it'll, depending on what happens tomorrow. But even the police were behaving themselves, to be honest with you, until the last 48 hours, and now they're starting to act up. And we'll see how it goes. Don't worry, it's not going to affect the march, but it's just the police being the police. And it's not the lower ranking guys. It's not even the sort of, you know, ones that are dealing, the public order people that are dealing with me and Tommy. It's people up the chain. So it's got to be the likes of Rowley and his. But Rowley needs to be sacked. Do you not agree that Mark Rowley needs to be sacked? I mean, he's an absolute disgrace. He's coward. He's had his police officers cowering in the face of Islamists and the far left and communists, literally cowering, not doing anything to sort the problem out. Unbelievable. And you know, I was thinking about this, talking to a friend of mine. I was saying one of the things about the about policing in London, it's not even open for discussion whether it's two-tier. We've seen it with our own eyes, time and time and time again. You know, it's just absolutely shocking. Where will Trump go to prison? It's highly likely Trump will go to prison. It's highly likely Trump will go to prison. And the other thing is that there's a humanitarian issue on this as well. Trump is an elderly man. He's not a kid. He's coming to 80, you know, and you know, an 8-year-old man going to prison on trumped up charges. What sort of people are these people that we're dealing with? These enemies of everything good and righteousness. I believe Trump can. I believe Trump can pardon himself. Yeah, pretty sure he can. Fed Up Brit 25. No, listen, watch it online. You know, if you can't get it, if you can't get there, you can't get there. You know, that's not a problem. The army's supposed to serve the people. Yeah, I agree with that. Well, it's supposed to serve the crown, but the problem is we've got problems with the crown as well. Trump will not go to prison. New York is no one in New York has ever been convicted of these charges and got to prison. Well, that was pretty much the same with Tommy. So we'll see what happens. Who controls the currency? Controls the country. That's absolutely true. Absolutely true. What's that? Cannot pardon a state conviction. Again, that's something I don't know enough about American law to even comment on that. I would say that's very true. That comment. We don't have a king. I'll say that very true. Well, guys, listen. March on Parliament. Well, in a way, we're marching to Parliament. We're not going to march on Parliament because we want to be democratic and we want to be lawful and peaceful. But we're marching to Parliament on Saturday, and if you want to join us, please do. The deep state strikes again. Yeah, I mean, Trump named him. He said it's talk. You know, Trump has lawyers. Tommy didn't. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Yeah, that's a way to keep Tommy out of prison. And I mean, again, you know, Tommy's got some good lawyers now, but again, they don't come cheap. You've got to, you know, you need to pay. I think that's right. I think Biden should be in prison. I think Biden absolutely should be in prison. Especially, you know, when you look at the history of what his sons got up to. What's this here? It's going to be about the last one I look at. And his Christian books over there. No, that coffee book is too. Thanks for that. Yeah, you've got very good eyesight there, mate. Yeah. Do you know, I'm probably gonna jazz this a bit to make it look a little bit less like a prison cell. Maybe I'm preparing myself for something that might happen with the Labour Party again. Any president could pardon himself. It may be decades though. Any president could pardon himself. It may be decades. Well, I mean, if he wins, yeah, I totally agree with that. Only one king, that's Jesus. Yeah. If he wins, then I would imagine he could pardon himself. But again, I'm not a constitutional expert, so I'm just UK first. Change is to start somewhere, and we need a British Parliament to replace all those traitors currently sitting. I agree. I totally agree. You know, I think there needs to be a fundamental change, and I think one of the things. What does everybody think about treason? I think that basically these politicians have committed treason right the way back from Tony Blair. And I think if we ever gain power, we should seriously look at dragging these men before a court for treason. Now, of course, I think it was Blair did away with the treason laws, and I think we need to get them reinstated and get these scum before the courts. All of them, you know. David Cameron, after he left being prime minister, David Cameron went round the world selling the Belt and Road Initiative for the Chinese Communist Party. That's made up. That really happened. And of course, his sidekick had a lot of dodgy deals, allegedly, in China. And then Jeremy Hunt seems to have some very, very close connections with China as well. I just wonder how much influence the Chinese Communist Party has over our state. And again, if it is the truth, that these men have cavorted with the enemy, whether it's the Qataris, the Saudis, the Pakistani government, the Chinese communists, or even the Russians, then they should be brought before the courts. Guys, I'm gonna log off, I think, because I've got a very, very busy weekend, as I'm sure many of you that are also coming have. So yeah, I'm going to put this last comment. Starting in the universities, changing history, gas. Yeah, absolutely. We all, you know what? I think we're all on the same page, and we all agree and believe the saying things. So guys, listen, great response, 289 people watching this live. Thanks for doing that. Anyone that's watching, if you haven't liked and subscribed to the channel, please do. I'm trying to build this up. I've never really bothered with any of my social media that much. I'm going to try to build it up because I think if we can build social media up, that's another thing. What I'm going to do, I'm going to build the social media platforms up. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to start dropping links into a couple of websites I've got just to get everybody's email address, because I do believe we're all going to get taken down. I believe we're going to get taken down in many different ways. And one of the ways they'll do it, the first way they'll do it, they'll just get us all banished from the likes of YouTube and all the platforms. And, you know, one word out of place on a live stream and you're toast on YouTube. So it's so censorious. But yeah, Gene, good night. Thank you all for watching. Start praying, Katrina. I agree with that. Well, let's end on that. Start praying, because we do need to pray. And we need God's help. And we need to read. You know what? I'm trying. Who's that there? I'm trying to read the comments. They're coming too fast. I'm only one man, and I'm getting my eyesight's not as good and quick as it used to be. Okay, but yeah, we need to pray. And again, thanks everyone for watching. And let's keep fighting. And let's be there on Saturday, 12 o'clock. If you're coming, go straight to Victoria Station. Don't go anywhere else, because we don't want you bumping into any of the boys in blue. So straight to Victoria Station, and we'll see you there at 12 o'clock on Saturday. See you soon.